Hello and welcome to Question Hour from inside the Parliament House complex, wherein we bring you some important questions asked by the members of Parliament and responded to by the government on the floor of the House in the previous session. I am Vishal Dahiya, and with me is my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Vishal. So let's take our viewers through the important questions in this edition of Question Hour. And the first question that we've picked up is to the Ministry of Law and Justice. And this one has been asked by member Rajmani Patel. And Mr. Patel has asked whether the government proposes to set up more fast-track courts in the country.
Well, the government in its response says that the decision of setting up fast-track courts and allocation of funds lies within the domain of the state government, who sets up such courts as per their need and resources in consultation with the concerned high courts. In its judgment in Braj Mohan Lal and others versus Union of India and others on 19th of April 2012, the Honorable Supreme Court of India had directed the states that they shall not take a decision to continue FTCs on ad hoc and temporary basis. Now, the states will need to decide either to bring the FTCs scheme to an end or to continue the same as a permanent feature in the state. An amount of 870 crore rupees was released to the state governments for FTCs during a period of 11 years from 2001 to 2011, and central funding was discontinued beyond 31st of March 2011. The central government decided to provide funds up to maximum of 80 crore rupees per annum on a matching basis up to 31st of March 2015 from 13th Finance Commission award for meeting expenditure on salaries of the 10% additional positions of judges being created in the subordinate judiciary following the direction of Supreme Court in the case of Braj Mohan Lal versus Union of India. Now, the state governments and chief justices of high courts were requested to utilize these positions for creation of FTCs also. Further, the Government of India proposed setting up of 1,800 FTCs with a cost of 4,144 crore rupees as a component of its memorandum to the 14th Finance Commission in order to dispose of cases pertaining to heinous crimes, cases involving senior citizens, women, children, disabled and litigants affected with HIV/AIDS and other terminal ailments, and civil disputes involving land acquisition and property rent disputes pending for more than 5 years at a cost of 4,144 crore rupees. Well, the next question is also to the Ministry of Law and Justice, and this one comes in from member Prabhakar Reddy, Vemi Reddy, who wants to know from the government whether it is a fact that the ministry has launched TELE law services scheme to provide legal services, including legal advice.
In the response, the government says that TELE law program is presently being implemented through 1,800 common service centers in the states of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, northeastern states and also Jammu and Kashmir. The government further says that the program is being implemented in 1,800 Gram Panchayats of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, northeastern states and Jammu and Kashmir, and not in any other state of the country, and no date has been fixed for its expansion to other dates. Let's move on to the next question pertaining to the Ministry of Power, and this one has been asked by member Prabhakar Reddy, Vemi Reddy, and Mr. Reddy has asked whether it is a fact that the country is producing 340 gigawatts of power in the country.
Well, the Ministry of Power has given a very detailed answer to this question, and it says that as on 31st of May 2019, the installed generation capacity was about 357 gigawatt, which is more than sufficient to meet the peak power demand of the country of around 183 gigawatt. Now, during last 3 years, that is 2016-17 to 2018-19, and current year, that is 2019-20, up to the month of May, 73,307 circuit kilometers of transmission lines and 2,49,459 million volt ampere of transformation capacity have been completed. Now, this has facilitated evacuation of power from generating stations to the consumers. The inter-regional transmission capacity of 41,600 megawatts has been added during last 3 years. That is from 2016-17 to 2018-19 and current year up till the month of May. Due to this, electricity can now be seamlessly transferred from anywhere to anywhere in the country. Further, the ministry says that electricity is a concurrent subject. Providing electricity to all consumers is the primary responsibility of concerned state governments. Power distribution companies, Government of India supplements the efforts of the states through its schemes, including Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, Integrated Power Development Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Sehaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana, Saubhagya, Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana. Large amounts of funds have been sanctioned to the states under these schemes, helping them to strengthen distribution network or grid connectivity and achieve 24/7 power for all. Now, the schemes are at various stages of implementation, and positive impacts of these schemes on improvement in reliability and quality of power supply have been reported. Further, the government says that it has launched Pradhan Mantri Sehaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana Saubhagya on 11th of October 2017 to provide electricity connections to all remaining unelectrified households in rural and all poor households in urban areas. As reported by the states, 2.628 crore households have been electrified since launch of Saubhagya up to 31st of March 2019. Well, the next one is also addressed to the Ministry of Power, and this one comes in from member Revati Raman Singh, who wants to know from the government whether it is considering to set up new thermal power plants in different regions of the country.
The Power Ministry says that electricity is a concurrent subject. As per the Electricity Act 2003, electricity generation is a delicensed activity, and any state or generating company can set up a thermal power project taking into considerations issues like viability, availability of fuel, and also a total number of 19 thermal power plants in central sector, including ultra mega power projects, are proposed to be set up in the states of Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka and Maharashtra. Land has been acquired for the thermal power projects in Jharkhand, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, UP and also in Bihar. The next one is to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and this one is coming from member Narayan Lal Pancharia, and Mr. Pancharia has asked whether the government has launched any scheme with the objective to develop character and personality of students, youth in schools and colleges across the country.
Well, in its response, the government says that it has launched the National Service Scheme, that is NSS, in the year 1969 with the overall objectives of personality development of the students through community service. It is a central sector scheme under Government of India, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. It provides opportunity to the students and youth of 11th and 12th class of schools at +2 board level and student youth of technical institutions, graduate and postgraduate at colleges and university level of India to take part in various government-led community services, activities and programs. Now, the budget allocation for National Service Scheme NSS during financial year 2019-20 is 160 crore rupees. The next question is also addressed to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and this one comes in from member Rita Brata Banerjee, who wants to know from the government about the status of implementation of the National Sports University Bill for the construction of a university in Manipur and all the details.
In the reply, the government says that the National Sports University Bill has been enacted into National Sports University Act 2018 on 17th of August 2018 during the monsoon session 2018 of Parliament. Hindustan Steel Construction Workers Limited has been engaged as project management consultant, and it has been decided to engage Tata Institute of Social Sciences for academic and professional consultancy. Construction has already started, and 1 postgraduate and 2 undergraduate programs have started in the university. The government further says that estimated time for completion is estimated to be around 5 years. Sports being a state subject, the responsibility of promotion of sports rests with the state governments. The Government of India, however, supplements the efforts of state governments through various initiatives and schemes like Khelo India, assistance to National Sports Federation, and also providing training facilities in Sports Authority of India centres. In the state of West Bengal, SAI has its regional centre at Kolkata, 4 SAI training centres in Kolkata, Lemong, Burdwan and Jalpaiguri, 1 special area game training centre, 1 centre of excellence and 2 SAI extension centres in Darjeeling. And the last question that we've picked up is to the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and this one comes in from member Kirori Lal Meena. And Mr. Meena has asked whether it is a fact that there has been a decline in the number of children not attending schools, including disabled children, during the last 3 years.
While HRD Ministry in its response says that it conducts periodic independent surveys to estimate out-of-school children. Now, these surveys were conducted in the years 2005, 2009 and 2014. According to 2014 survey, there were a total of 20.41 crore children in the age group of 6 to 13 years in the country, out of which an estimated 60.64 lakh, that is 2.97%, were out of school, which include disabled children. The number of out-of-school children has declined from 134.59 lakh in 2005 to 60.64 lakh in 2014 in the same age group. Now, the Department of School Education and Literacy has launched an integrated scheme for school education, that is Samagr Shiksha, with effect from 2018-19, which subsumes the 3 erstwhile centrally sponsored schemes of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan and teacher education. Now, the scheme envisages school education as a continuum from pre-school to senior secondary level and aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all. Now, under Samagra Shiksha, there is a dedicated component for inclusive education for children with special needs, which focuses on providing inclusive education to children with disability, wherein children, regardless of their abilities or disabilities, participate and learn together in the same class, thus creating an enabling educational environment for all students. Further, the ministry says, under the student-oriented component of the children with special needs, financial assistance is provided for identification and assessment of children with special needs, aids and appliances, braille kits and books, appropriate teaching learning material and stipend to girl students with disability, etc. So, Kriti, that's all we have for our viewers in this segment of Question Hour.
That's right, Vishal. But on the other side, we'll have Prashn Kal with our colleagues Kriti Singh and Arvind Singh. Stay tuned.